Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Ridwanullah family. Welcome to a new episode of the Ridwanullah TV Show. I'm your host, Life and Business Maximizer, Hussein Mohamud, working to help you completely maximize your life and business in this dunya and in the akhirah for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And inshallah, in today's show, I wanted to talk about. Oh, baby. I got a couple of things to talk to you guys about, inshallah. Um, and, honestly, I've been sitting here about the past 30 minutes just kind of brainstorming a lot of the topics that I wanted to talk to you guys about, some of the things that I was afraid of to talk to you guys about, some of the things that I was comfortable talking to you guys about, and just kind of pondering some of the things that I've become comfortable with talking to you guys about, but some of you guys are a little uncomfortable to hear me talk about it in one way or the other. Um, and, in today's episode, even though I have so much on my mind right now with so many things going in so many different ways, maybe I'll just touch on all of it. Maybe I'll touch on some of it. Maybe I will just stick to fear of vulnerability, right? And I think that's probably, I would say, maybe the umbrella of the topic that I'm going to be talking about in today's episode, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Um, maybe I'll talk about some of the constructive feedback, or I don't know if I should call it hate, or if I should call it judgment, or if I should call it, I don't know what I should call it. Some of the things that has kind of been coming my way, some of the thoughts that I've been having. Um, Yeah, I'll be straightforward with you guys. I'll be open and honest with you. I honestly don't know exactly what I want to talk about. Maybe that's a topic in itself, but um, and do I just want to vent? Do I just want to, uh, you know, maybe share something valuable with you guys, or not even putting that burden upon myself? Needless to say, a lot of things on my mind, and I actually probably wrote over maybe 20 different topics that I wanted to address. In the beginning, I was like, maybe talk about the 5 or 10 things that is holding you back from your success and happiness, or maybe talk about maybe the opposite of that, the 5 or 10 things that is expanding your allowing you to achieve your success and happiness, or so many different things, you know what I mean? And just trying to the biggest thing is just trying to figure out this whole online business, um, and even more than the online business in general, like my freedom and wealth is, whew, man. I'm just it's to I'm a hot mess, y'all. I'm a hot mess. I'm a hot mess. I can't even front no more. I don't know what in the world I'm doing right now. I don't know what I'm feeling lost and confused, y'all. I know this is like the last thing you guys expect of me, the last thing you guys want to hear from me. But this is just me being me, to be quite honest with you. This is just me being vulnerable. This is me being true and honest to you guys. And I don't want to sound like I don't know why this came to my mind. I was like a Debbie Downer. I have no clue what in the world that is. Um, but I don't want to be pessimistic. You know what I mean? Honestly, when I look at my life and my business and so many different things, a lot of it is a hot mess. I'm not gonna front. But within the same token, a lot of it is just beautiful. You know what I mean? And that's the part that I don't want to discount. That's the part that um, I don't want to come to you, because a lot of people, whenever I vent or become vulnerable, just become open and honest with, they start to feel, I mean, I don't mind, but they start to feel bad for me. They start to look down upon me, like I'm doing bad in certain areas of my life, and it could be. But that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of things in my life that is not going amazing. You know what I mean? And it's hard to figure out how to communicate that. And very few people actually know how to do that properly, where they have the artistic, technical, communication, illustration, and all of these different things happening for them, and they could specifically let you know what they're going through. I don't know how to do that. Maybe you think I do. I don't feel like I do. Maybe it's just being open and honest with people is a part of the process of being vulnerable. I have no clue. Some of the topics that I was thinking about is just being a workaholic, like, just being, investing so much into my work that I don't invest as much into my personal relationships, my professional relationships. Just not knowing what my personality is, not knowing who I am, just trying to go on this journey of self-discovery and, finding myself, losing myself, and everything else in between. Like, the other thing that I was thinking about is just, losing connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's just a part of that process where, you're doing so much where you don't even know what you're doing anymore. And the other thing is just comparing myself to other people. It's just crazy. It's crazy because maybe I'm comparing myself to a highlight reel of somebody else, right, on social media or whatever they're putting up there. And they're not letting you know what's behind the scenes, right? Not the snapshot of the highlight reel, but what's real, what's behind the scenes, and all of the struggle and the striving and the feeling lost and confused, and all of these things that go into someone's journey to success and happiness, in life and business, not only in this dunya, but more importantly in the akhirah, and above all, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's crazy. I have no clue of a lot of things, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm writing, journaling pretty much on a daily basis. I literally write pages upon pages upon pages of journals per day, unless I get really busy for some reason. And it's a time of uncertainty. I'll be honest with you guys. And sometimes we think, okay, I shouldn't be vulnerable with people. I shouldn't let them know what I'm going through, exactly how I'm going through it. And maybe, you don't want to just come across as someone who's just failing and miserably failing miserably. Or, you don't want to just front and act like you're succeeding and happy, when in reality you might be somewhere in between. And that's kind of where I find myself, because sometimes I find myself indebted with gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And, I'm just like, my life is amazing. It's as successful and happy as I could imagine it to be, and sometimes it's a miserable failure. But I think it's within that tug of wars, that balance that, you kind of find yourself in. One of the other things that I'm struggling with is, as I'm trying to build my business online as well as offline, is branding. I'm trying to figure out what my branding is. I honestly don't. I know what my brand is, but I don't know which one to focus on. Right? There's the business brand, which is Ridwanullah organization and all of the different platforms that there are for it. And then there is the personal branding, which is basically my name, Hussein Mohamud. And alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I'm kind of simultaneously building both things right now. And reasonably so, I'm making, whatever I can through it, here and there, give or take. Some things are working reasonably well for me. Some things are not working. They're barely working. I went from dreaming of making money online to making 1% online right now. and not knowing which business idea to go after. You know what I mean? It's just so much on my plate. But um, as Muslimin, there are some therapeutic outlets that doesn't involve human beings. And there are limitations of certain things that you can tell human beings. And that is in relation to the connection that I've lost with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I'm slowly but surely working to regain. It's not easy, I promise you. It's not easy. Sometimes it's just downright sad. Sometimes it's amazing because you get to experience life and business in ways that other people don't ever get to experience. Sometimes you feel trapped. Sometimes you feel stuck. And, I know for sure, for a fact, I'm not the only one who's going through these different experiences, these different thoughts and feelings, and these different wins and losses. But a lot of us are afraid to speak on it because that might mean loss in business. That might mean loss in friendship. That might mean people looking down upon you, or that might mean, you worrying about other people feeling bad for you. And it's just is what it is. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about, I'm talking to myself here, so give me a second. You don't have to worry about how other people perceive you and whether they're going to be judging you or not. Just be who you are and do the things that you need to do within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I honestly don't know what you guys are supposed to be getting from this episode, but I feel like I'm benefiting from it, at the very least, just releasing some thoughts and feelings that are not really toxic, but are not helpful, but might be helpful in light of this episode. I have no clue, to be honest with you. And I think the silver lining or the message of it is it's okay. It's okay to not know. It's okay if you don't know what you want to do with your life. It's okay if some of the income stream outlets that other people are succeeding in is haram for you. You know what I mean? It's okay. You still got to figure out what other options are out there for you that are halal, or figuring out how to make those options out there for you to make it halal. And I'm specifically talking about the YouTube and maybe Facebook or the different ad streams that are out there. I don't know. I want to be able to turn it on, but I realized that after looking into it and listening to the rulings of the scholars that it is haram, simply because somebody could be advertising alcohol or whatever, and you can't take that money. Maybe there's a better way of doing it. Maybe that's just my limiting belief, but that's just the things that I've been seeing. Awkward moment of silence. It's all gravy. You can love me or hate me. It's all good. Some people saying my intros are too long. I don't care. Actually, I do. Oh! I don't know, man. Some people like, this is not professional. That is not professional. This is too long. This is too short. Your videos are extremely long. I don't think I've heard somebody say my videos are too short, so maybe that's a sign. I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to get it together. I'm a hot mess. I don't know what I'm doing. I have a clue of what I'm doing. I am a master of what I'm doing. At the same time, I'm a hot mess. Right? And I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. One of the other things in my life and business that I struggle with, specifically in my life, is just trying to figure out my values and priorities in life, right? Specifically, like as of right now, in terms of my life, I like to conceptualize it, chunk it, and strategically systematize it to a point where the execution kind of becomes effortless. And sometimes I think that's like high level information, and sometimes I'm thinking you think you're better than other people to think that they don't understand what you're talking about, but then they might not, but then they might, and everything else in between. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And sometimes I think, like, why are you creating so much content? And this is a couple of the conversations that I've had with some of my close friends who are operating businesses completely offline and reasonably successfully. And here I am years later, barely making it with an online business. And that's the part that I'm still trying to be careful with, because I don't want to feel like I'm portraying myself as a as someone who's failing miserably, or miserably failing, or whatever you want to call it. But within the same token, I don't want to talk about some of the success and happiness that I'm experiencing in my life and business. I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta talk how speak from the heart and soul, man. Whether people understand you or not, whether people like it or not, it's completely up to y'all. I think one of the things that I've realized that's stopping me from success and happiness is I put too many rules and regulations and boundaries and ways of doing things, and I just need to be fluid. I just need to, let go of these standards and expectations and just be myself. And not just myself, but myself within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is completely contradicting what I just said a moment ago. Because I was talking about being free, but freedom really just comes within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I've been trying to figure out when to post my content, or if I should even be posting content at all. Should I do pre-recorded content, or should I do actually live shows or content? Should it be show? Should it be even called anything? Should I just talk about whatever I want to talk about and just, so much on my mind, honestly. Sometimes, the truth, in society these days, we're actually being taught the opposite of what the truth is. And it's the people that we most seek the truth from that are teaching us the opposite of what the truth is. And sometimes maybe sometimes I think to myself, maybe they are teaching you the truth and you think what they're teaching you is not the truth, which might be the truth, or it might be the other way around. And it's just a hot mess, y'all. Hot mess. But I'm trying to turn this hot mess into high maximization, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And I think, one of the things that I want you guys to do along with me is just, join this journey with me. You know what I mean? I'm learning and growing as much as I possibly can. And one of the things that I've realized is when I have my values and priorities in place, whether that's in life or business or the combination thereof, I feel like my life is headed in a positive direction. But the reality is actually opposite of what is being preached to me, which is a contradiction. But what I found out is that it is a contradistinction. And I want you to research that word, because it's something that I actually came across back in 2008 when I was traveling across the Middle East, primarily in Doha, Qatar, with my uncle, visiting my uncle. It's a weird thing, but you know what it is. And sometimes I feel like I should just speak what is on my heart and soul and my mind and gut, and just all the things that I'm working on and the different ways that I want to go about it, and after the fact, just, slap a little bit of topic on it. And maybe that's the professional way of doing it that a lot of people don't think is the way of doing it. And, I've had so many different business opportunities and ideas that I'm actually working in and working on right now. As I've mentioned multiple times, maybe you guys caught it, maybe you guys didn't. I kind of low-key hurt myself a little bit. Scratch myself, I should say, not hurt myself. Which kind of felt a little bit pain. But anyway, I have that Ridwanullah University's Life Maximization Program that I have very minimal students in right now that I'm working on. And, it's very valuable to me. I don't know the very few students that are in there, what they think about it. And, they're giving me reasonable feedback. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. But I think I'm gaining a lot more. Hopefully they're gaining just as much, if not more. So I'm thinking about, that program online, which, to a certain degree has been an amazing experience. And I wanted to launch my second program, which is the Business Maximization Program, where I wanted to work with entrepreneurs, start, run, and grow and maximize their businesses, not only in this dunya, but more importantly in the akhirah. And I don't know if there's going to be businesses in the akhirah, but you guys get the point. I'm sick and tired of just acting like I have it all figured out and all together, because that's what a lot of people do. And it is not to say that I don't have a lot of things figured out and together, but within the same token, I don't have a lot of things figured out and together. It's so complex and hard, but you just got to work through all of that to make things as simple and easy as possible, whether that's in life or business or the different parts of life and business. And sometimes I'm telling myself, post Mondays and Thursdays and have a lot of content in the chamber. And I'm like, maybe, what about if something like, let's say, the recent pandemic and everything else that was happening kind of happened. And, but you have a full month of content already pre-recorded, maybe more than that. And it's coming out, and the cycles and seasons go through, and you're saying something that you've recorded a month ago in a completely wrong time, and it could be taken out of context. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe I could still do that just to kind of maintain a schedule in my life and some sort of order. And, if something comes up and I really want to say it, I just hop on the live that I've been testing out for about a week or so. And, I've been getting some things like that. And, the crazy thing is a lot of people benefit, a reasonable amount of people benefit from my content, but I have very low engagement. I have very minimal engagement, I should say. Not a lot of people, subscribe. Not a lot of people like the videos. Not a lot of people comment. Not a lot of people share. I actually don't even have any statistics about sharing. I got to figure that part out. Maybe you know about it, and you can let me know in the comments below on how I can figure that out. I think we're just so afraid of being vulnerable, especially in the Islamic realm as Muslims, because there's a little bit more rules and regulations of what's permissible and what is not within reason, and it's actually to our own benefit, not detriment. That we have to figure out how to be vulnerable in the proper way, but we're so afraid of it, everybody's going through their own struggles. Everybody's going through their own pains. And I'm definitely dealing with a fair share of mine, but I'm getting my W's. I'm not tripping. I'm not fronting about it. But I'm taking a lot of L's. I'm taking a lot of M's. Losses and misery, or F's and M's. Failures and misery. Fair share of it, I'll be honest with you. But within the same token, I'm taking a lot of S's, and I'm taking a lot of H's. I'm taking a lot of successes, and I'm taking a lot of happiness. Whether I make money or not through the content that I'm creating, I'm honestly feeling successful. I'm honestly feeling happy. to be able to impact people's lives in ways that I couldn't even imagine. Some of the individuals comment to me saying, "Man, your postings and your content is actually helping me through my hard times." So whenever I hear that, it really, really resonates and it helps. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Some people just want, the 30 seconds, 1 second, 15-second content. And some people want the long content that, straight from the heart and soul, and it's raw, it's uncut. It's whatever. You know what I mean? And it takes however long it takes for me to feel like I've communicated my message across. And, it's okay to be a hot mess. It's okay to not have things figured out. You know what I mean? It's okay to be afraid to spend your money. It's one of the things that I found out, and most of you guys might have already known this about me, is I'm a penny pincher. And that's maybe because I'm not making enough money as of right now, or whatever that enough is. Maybe the amount of money that I'm making right now is like a dream to some of you guys, and maybe chump change to some of you guys, and that's just the nature of life, right? Let's just say I'm not making 6 figures yet. I'm on my way, inshallah, with a couple of moves here and there. So that's another thing that I always wanted to talk about is money. Income here and there, I talk about it, but nothing directly. I don't know what to focus on. You guys help me out, guys. Help a brother out. Help a brother out. I demand y'all to help me out, or else I'm just going to start talking in different accents from down south to up north. You know what I'm saying? And New Orleans, you heard me? And the West Coast. You feel me, cousin, or whatever they say down there in the West Coast. I'm actually on the West Coast, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I love accents. I don't know. Jamaican is popping for me. I was about to say some words in Jamaican. I don't know what it means, and I actually researched a little bit. It starts with but. I don't want to finish it, but if you can figure it out, you figure it out. Oh, man. The other thing is I've had so many goals that I wanted to achieve that for some reason or the other, I just wasn't able to. There are things that, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I am achieving. And there are things that for some reason, one way or the other, it's just been there for years and years, and I'm just not achieving them. One of them is like I've closed down my Gadget Zone business. I think I started in 2015. I kept it up 15, 16, and 17. And I believe I closed it in 2018. 2 years later, I still have some inventory that I haven't gotten rid of that is depreciating in asset. Meaning is going down in value, and I haven't really sold much of the cell phones and some of the electronics that I have left. That is probably maybe half price right now. A couple of cell phones, some of them are brand new, some of them are used, some of them are broken. I got to figure out how to get rid of that. I just don't want to throw it away. Maybe the next best thing is to give it away, but I spent actual money on it, like a couple of hundreds, couple of thousands of dollars on it. So I really want my money's worth. But I've just been too busy doing what I love and everything else. So I got to figure that out, y'all. I got to figure that out. Inshallah, I will. Hopefully, I will. I'm kind of getting better at creating content. As you guys can see, I've been editing my videos on a minimal level. I'm trying to figure out how to do it on a reasonable level. And I think I found out some of the reasons why I'm not popping off on social media and my content is not really, getting a lot of views and a lot of traction and a lot of things is simply because I'm not talking about the things that people want to hear. I'm talking about the things that I want to talk about. I'm talking about the things that sometimes I get lost in. I start talking about things that I think other people want me to talk about. The other reason why I'm not succeeding through my content, my online business, and all of these other things that I'm trying to figure out is I'm barely putting in any money into my content, my business, my work. Whereas I see people who are, skyrocketing, is they're putting in money, time, energy, and effort as much as it takes. And for me, I was talking to my cousin Liban about this, that I've interviewed, and you guys will be seeing his interview sometime in the near future, inshallah. I was actually testing out the remote interview, where maybe I'll just release that just for fun, of me just testing out the online platform of how to interview somebody on a remote scale, where they're somewhere just out in the world with internet connection, and I'm somewhere out in the world with an internet connection, and I just interview them on there. And it happened to, like, we wanted to be like a 10-15 minute call where we test something out and we're out. It ended up being a couple of hours, which seems like a trend for some of the conversations that I have. They're very deep, they're very long, they're very wide. I don't know what that means, but y'all can take it however y'all want. But we started talking about just not investing into my businesses. And I honestly don't mind investing into my businesses, and I actually have different expenses on, within the micro things that I'm testing out with my online business. I don't know what to invest in. Like, I honestly don't mind, but there's so many different things. Like, I have different online physical products that I'm working on, lines of physical products that I'm particularly came up with. I don't want to say an invention, but an idea that is profound, right? And it's a physical product. Do I focus on that physical product? I don't know. Do I focus on getting better camera, better microphones? Do I focus on doing it the podcast style, where I actually have those nice microphones that are very, very expensive, in a total of maybe around $2,000 to $3,000 that I'll be spending to upgrade that within due time, sooner or later, here or there? I don't know. Do I focus on my service-based products, where I do the courses and the programs? I don't know. Do I focus on my books, my speaking engagements? I have no clue right now what my core business model is, right? Am I attracting life maximizers? Am I attracting business maximizers, entrepreneurs, and things like that? I don't know who I'm attracting. I'm just venting right now, to be quite honest with you. But I know somewhere, somehow, real, genuine, open and honest content like this will definitely help somebody. So if you thought, maybe you're like, man, I thought this guy had it a lot together and figured out and together than I thought. Cool. You can judge me all you want, but maybe this is just a phase in my life, and I'm continuing on with the different success and happiness, and I maybe actually have it figured out and together, and you just don't know it. Or maybe it's just a particular time in my life, or maybe I never do. Allahu A'lam. But in any case, that's the reality that I'm facing. That's what I'm going through, and that's how I'm experiencing things. And I have a lot more to say, but maybe I'll just cut it off right now and post part 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever it takes to just kind of be open and honest with you guys, and just vent, and directly or indirectly give you as much value as I possibly can. And I honestly appreciate your guys' feedback. I want to be able to adjust and adapt in ways that not only help me grow, but also help you grow. And I honestly think I learned a very, very important lesson in this process, is that as long as I'm doing things that help me learn and grow as best as I can, and kind of tailoring it to what helps you learn and grow in the best way you can, that is the best formula. Because a lot of the people most likely tend to tell you, focus on what people need and want. And sometimes you just get lost in that, and you don't know what you're doing anymore. You're just in the motion of doing, creating content. And if you're listening to Gary Vee, he just says more, right? Gary Vee, I'm creating uh, 100,000 content per day, more. That's what you need. That's all he's gonna say. But it's not that unrealistic. But you know, that's and you start to believe that, and you just create more and more. Um, so maybe I'll create a part two, and I think I'm just gonna be posting content Mondays and Thursdays, inshallah. I was thinking about doing life content on Mondays and then business content on Thursdays, but I'm just gonna do however it comes and just kind of flow with the creativity. And maybe in the life program, you guys could get more consistent content that way. Or if you're into business, maybe in the business program that I'm developing right now, you guys will be able to get content there. But I think I probably said about 60% of what I wanted to get off my mind. And the other 40% or so, whatever it is, I'll just do a part two, and just kind of continue on that way. I guess some of the main takeaways or some of the lessons here is, just because you don't have it figured out and together doesn't mean you should stop taking action. So that's number one. Number two is do what helps you learn and grow the best and the most, and instead of focusing on what helps other people learn and grow. Because you look at somebody else that has made it, and you look at them and they're telling you, focus on what people need and want. Most of the time, what other people need and want is what you need and want. So you might as well just focus on what you need and want. At this particular time in my life, I need and want to vent. I need and want to be open and honest. I need to be vulnerable. So maybe that's what you need and want as well. If so, great. Approach it that way. If not, cool. Go about your day. You heard me? But that's the next lesson that I learned. And the third lesson is, go after the money. And I know a lot of people out there say, don't go after the money, go after what you love. And I'm actually a part of that as well. But I want to say go after making money in a halal way, obviously. So don't go after your passion, go after what makes money. And once you make enough money, transition that into your passion. Or maybe once you've made enough money, then transition into your passion. But I think one of the things that I don't want to say I wish I didn't take on early on in my life is somebody telling me to follow my passion. Somebody telling me is to make money from my passion. And in all honesty, to a certain degree, I don't mind that. But I just think it's a mix of values and priorities. You should always focus on what makes you money. And figure out how to love that, right? And then transition into what you love, right? And keep building on that way. Maybe that's a lesson that I'll change in the future, but focus on making money, halal money, obviously, and stay away from the haram money that's out there. And then once you're making money, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, focus on your passion. Or figure it out, you know what I mean? But for me right now, I honestly think I should focus on making the money first and foremost, and then figuring out my passion, and not making money just to make money, right? I don't mean scamming people, I don't mean cheating people, I don't mean lying, deceiving, over promising, under delivering. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is doing the work that people need and want, whether you like it or not, whether you love it or not, whether it's your passion or not, so you can stay afloat, so you can take care of your freedom and wealth, so you can take care of your deen and self, so you can take care of your family and relatives, so you can take care of your ummah and world to the best of your abilities. And those are the 4 areas of life that I've been trying to figure out. And maybe it's important for you to focus on helping individuals with their businesses. And I'm talking to myself here. Maybe I should just focus on the business program first, and then focus on the life maximization program after that. I don't know. I honestly don't. And sometimes I'm thinking right now, one of the things that I've been thinking about in this learning and growing part of my life is the first part of your life is your freedom and wealth. The second part of your life is your deen and self. The third part of your life is the family and relatives. And the fourth part of your life is the ummah and the world. And I can guarantee you that the biggest problem I'm having in my life is the exact same thing that you're having the biggest problem with. And let me explain. The biggest problem that I'm having in my life is my freedom and wealth. And maybe that's the answer for me, that I should just focus on helping you completely maximize your life in this dunya and in the akhirah for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's just the thing that I should stick with. But within the same token, in life, there's so many different topics. There's so many different complexities. There's so many different ways of talking about it. Like, for example, one of the things that I innately desired, but I didn't know exactly what that desire was, and that's what you're gonna be dealing with in the early parts of your life, is that you're gonna have these desires of, you want to do something, but you don't know exactly what that thing is. And that's exactly what I'm going through right now. But the thing is, as you take action, you're going to get closer to your dream and vision, right? And you're going to get farther away from where you used to be. But even if you come very far, you're still going to be lost and confused, because you don't know what to talk about. You don't know how to talk about it. You don't know how to address it. You know what I mean? In which ways are you going to do it? And I think just kind of being real, open, and honest, I'm learning a lot through this journey. And the thing that I wanted to talk about is financial freedom, right? A lot of us, knowingly or unknowingly, we're seeking financial freedom, and we're going about it completely the wrong way. And I'm going about it completely the wrong way. And we have so many limiting beliefs and realities relating to our freedom and wealth and the different parts of our lives. And if I'm struggling with my freedom and wealth, guaranteed you are as well. And I think that's what we have to figure out. I don't know, we're going to be talking about life, and obviously we're going to be offering the Ridwanullah University's Life Maximization Program. But within the same token, I want to talk about freedom and wealth, right? Help you figure out your freedom and wealth. Help you figure out, there's something called passive income, and there's something called active income. And this is all the stuff that I'm learning. And one of the things that I want to let you know about me and about pretty much everybody is, just because someone knows about it and knows about the lingo and the topics doesn't necessarily mean that they have the desired outcomes and results. So you really, really have to pay attention to that, because at the end of the day, somebody could tell you, oh man, this, and that. But at the end of the day, what do they have? And in all honesty, what I have is, depending on who you are, right? What I have might be nothing, and what I have might be everything. But that's some of the things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about freedom and wealth. And then I'm thinking, is it financial freedom? Is it time freedom? Is it location freedom? Is it freedom from the fire? When we're talking about the akhirah, is it freedom of punishment in this dunya? I don't know. But I do know that it's three things at the very least. It's financial, time, and location freedom, and flexibility. That's the other word, is we want to have that flexibility to go through certain things in certain ways. And I don't know, maybe the idea is that we still offer the Life Maximization Program, and we talk about these different parts in order, in whatever sequence that people need and want. But within the same token, we offer the Business Maximization Program as well, where, we try to help entrepreneurs start, run, grow, and maximize their businesses. But then how do you offer it? Do I put life first and then business after? Or do I offer business first and then life after? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. And that's the stuff that I'm still trying to figure out. That's the stuff that I'm trying to, communicate to you, that I'm trying to figure out. But I don't even know how to do that aside from the way I'm doing it right now. Which a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, I should say some people do not like or appreciate. And if you do, press the like button. I'm just going to become one of these these content creators that say, press the subscribe button, like it, comment, share, press the like button, comment, subscribe, share, subscribe. Ugh. Unless you start doing that, I'm just going to start telling you that that's what we're going to do. Man, I honestly don't know. But I do know that I want to be able to completely maximize my life. And a part of that is, my passive income. A part of that is my active income and work. A part of that is my personal budget. A part of that is my net worth, including the savings and investing and all of that. A part of that is my deen, that I'm slowly but surely working on improving. A part of that is my health and fitness. A part of that is, the belonging, the belongings and neatness that I have. A part of that is a part of the adventure and fun that I'm working on having. A part of that could be, the family and relatives' love and unity. And a part of that could be the ummah and the world love and unity. And those are basically the 7 complete desired outcomes and results in life that we're all experiencing one way or the other. That I actually wanted to talk to you guys about. Freedom and wealth, closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, closeness to and pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is number 2. Health and fitness is number 3. Family, abundance of belongings and neatness is number 4. Adventure and fun is number 5. Family and relatives, unity and love is number 6. And ummah and world, unity and love is number 7. Those are the 7 different outcomes and results that every single human being is after one way or the other. And I didn't know how to share that with you guys, so I'm happy that I actually had that opportunity to share that with you guys right now. But then, do I just focus on one program? Do I focus on 2 programs? Do I focus on the financial aspect of it, which we're all struggling with one way or the other? Should I focus on the business aspect of it that we're all struggling with one way or the other? Should I focus on the life aspect of it, which is all the other parts that I just mentioned right now? I honestly don't know. But again, the question is, what would you need and want? Meaning me, Hussein Mohamud. And how to go about that, I don't know. Man. But, in all honesty, I'm very, very afraid of being consumed by this dunya. So that might be a limiting belief and or reality that we're going to have to deal with. But, if I had to look at, my biggest needs and wants, I would rather focus on my finances. I would rather focus on the businesses. And I would rather focus on all the different parts of my life. I would honestly just put it in that way. So maybe the message becomes, I want to help you completely maximize your finances, businesses, and life in this dunya and in the akhirah for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then, how does that whole thing work? Because, a part of the reality of working towards maximizing your finances, businesses, and life in this dunya and in the akhirah for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the fact that you have to deal with your job or jobs, one or two more, right? You're basically working between a job, which is part of your core, your main income and source of income and work, and then the side hustles that you're engaged in to be able to work through that. And just figuring out that whole process. Should you work on climbing the corporate ladder? Should you start your own business, especially in this pandemic? Which way do you go? And that's honestly, a lot of the stuff that I'm dealing with, a lot of the stuff that I'm still trying to work through, and being open and honest with you guys within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most helpful thing for me. And I'm thinking to myself, man, that's a tall task to cover. Finances is a whole beast of its own. Businesses, that's a whole beast of its own. Life, right, which is the grand scheme of things in this dunya and in the akhirah for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how does it work when I'm still trying to struggle through all of these different elements of life? Some of the people ask me questions like, I have a contracting business. Should I get the stimulus package through the IRS or the government? What about the stimulus checks that I'm getting personally? What about, should I focus on, applying for the EIDL is what it's called, I believe, or the PPP? What is the difference between those and the other two options that they have? And obviously, personally, most people who've applied for taxes automatically get their stimulus checks if they haven't gotten it already. And a lot of the people, what they focus on is the personal finances. But then there's this whole side of professional finance that is a part of your personal finance, whether you decide to fully go professionally or not, is a part of your financial world, which is the professional finance and then the personal finance. Which one comes first? I have no clue. But I do know that they exist now, where majority of the people are just talking to you about personal finances, which is completely okay. But your personal finance really depends on your professional finance, whether you have a business or not. As long as you have a job, you have professional finances as well. And a lot of people don't talk about that. So maybe that's where I come in, and even though it's kind of like pulling teeth, figure my way out through it with finances, businesses, and life, where the finances is about the income, whether it's passive and or active, and the work that goes along with that, whether that's through your jobs and or businesses. And just so many things. And one of the things that I wanted to do is start a podcast, and starting a podcast is very, very complex, honestly. I'd rather recommend starting a YouTube channel and Facebook and all of these different long format platforms. And then work your way into a podcast. You might be honestly feel like in the race of success and happiness, I feel like the snail or the turtle, the hare, whatever they want to call it. I don't even know what that is. I feel so slow. But I think in all honesty, I think it's better to be slow and steady than fast and crashing and burning out and losing your way. I don't know. But what I do know is what I do know, which is I'm going to go after what I need and want, and hopefully it is what you need and want. And if it's not, all gravy. And it's just this whole dynamic complexity and hardship, right? With most people have this old way of thinking, but nowadays with online platforms and different ways of making money online, whether that's through your job. Remote works are expanding. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I've been working from home for over a year now through a regular job. And I've been slowly but surely working to expand, my business, and hopefully slowly but surely work towards transitioning into my business full time instead of a 9-to-5 grind, which is all a part of the complexity and hardship. But I think by understanding these different parts, we'll be able to help each other grow. In all honesty, my biggest weakness in life is my finances and business and performance. My biggest strength is my unwillingness to give up in my dreams, my dream and vision. I'm pretty much a hard head when it comes to that, because I don't want anybody to deter me from what I want to do in my life, with my finances, with my businesses, and my life in this dunya and in the akhirah for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as long as it's within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I think that's what I'm gonna do, inshallah. And hopefully, through the YouTube channels, I'll be able to. I've been posting in both my business channel as well as my personal channel, which both are professional and personal. It could go either way. But I'm posting in both content, and I don't know which one to focus on. And that's the other thing right now. It's like, should I focus on, my business brand or my personal brand? And there's always pros and cons. Like, whenever I'm dealing with the opposite gender, especially in Islam, it's more professional to go through your business brand. But on a personal connecting level with other human beings, it's better to use your personal brand. And I'm happy that I have that experience. And whenever I'm doing the live sessions, it's better for me to use my personal brand. And then, utilize my professional brands as needed. And just kind of going through that. And maybe if I find, it's a lot more responsibility with your personal brand than it is with your professional brand, because you're dealing with somebody right now, and somebody cannot act like me and pretend to be me, right? Obviously. But with your business brand, anybody could work for you. Anybody could create content for you. But there's only limited amount of money and time that you're dealing with, and maybe maneuvering through the two would be the idea. But I just don't like posting the same content on both platforms, right? But maybe it'll get to a situation where one will make more sense than the other. That's why I'm posting on both of them right now. There's some people who are my personal branded content and channels and things like that barely get any access to my professional brand. So, obviously right now, I've realized I'm going to do what I need and want. I'm going to focus on building my business and personal brand. And I'll just, utilize it however it comes. So if you're not subscribed to both of them on the YouTube platforms and the Facebook and Instagram and all of these other different platforms, please do so. I really, really appreciate it. And I try to make them interconnected. So, like, for example, on the YouTube channel, you should be able to, if you're on my business platform, then you should be able to, my business brand, I should say, and business, you should be able to go to the channel section of the YouTube page, and then you should see my personal brand. And if you happen to be on my personal brand, you should go to the channel section of the YouTube page, and you will see my business brand and business under that. So I'm trying to make it as connected as possible. And I think I'm just going to go the same way with the website. I'm going to keep building my professional brand as well as personal brand and use it interchangeably as needed and wanted. Yeah. I honestly didn't think it was going to go for an hour. If you guys were stuck with me since then, I truly, truly appreciate it. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of value that you guys can extract from this, and directly or indirectly. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of value in it for me as well. You know, and I've kind of lost focus on my health and fitness as of recently, and I've gained a lot of weight. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Packing the pounds in this mug, you heard me? But I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I'm feeling healthy. That's what really matters. But yeah, I'm just going to keep doing long formats, and then I'll try to see if I could chop it up and see what people could benefit from. And I don't have the software to do that right now, as I'm slowly but surely working off of it. And I constantly think about switching from Android to Apple and Windows and whatnot to Apple. So I don't know, maybe I will make that move and transition that way and never go back. They say once you go black, you never go back. So maybe once I go Apple, I never go back. I was trying to find words that rhyme, but I couldn't find that. But maybe that's it right there. I got a poetic side, so maybe I can share that with you guys too. Fun fact, I actually wanted to become a rapper back in my days when I was like in high school. I still got a couple of tracks that I've been recording. My brother actually makes fun of me a lot. He says, I chunk up the deuce from the... That's one of the tracks. I don't even know if I should have said that, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. That's what it is right now. Yeah, we'll kind of build off from there, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Honestly, I'm still trying to figure out so much. But as of right now, is completely maximize your finances, businesses, and life in this dunya and in the akhirah for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you guys can check us out at Ridwanullah.com for all of the information, which is also connected to HusseinMohamud.com. That is coming up fairly shortly. And, you know, hopefully I'll figure it out as I go along. And if I don't, it's all good. If I do, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And we'll build on from there. I think I went on long enough on this one. I'll keep this up in the next episodes. Whatever I find useful, whatever I find beneficial in my life is what I will share with you. And sometimes it comes in the venting form. Sometimes it comes into the keyword search form. Sometimes it comes into that passionate, this is what you have to do form. I'll explore through that. And I hope that you learn and grow with me. You know, in your finances, your businesses, and life, and your work, your finances, your work, businesses, and life. I don't know, man. I'll figure it out, inshallah. But that's pretty much it. Ridwanullah family, Jazakumullahu khair for tuning in to another episode of Ridwanullah TV Show. I'm your host, finances, work, life, business, and life maximizer, Hussein Mohamud, working to help you completely maximize your finances, work, and life in this dunya and in the akhirah for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.